Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by SonicWeb Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs, and brought to you by official sponsor, the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson Missing, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. We're here with an amazing lady from Richmond, Virginia, who's an author and registered hospice nurse, also a case manager residing in that wonderful area. She also volunteers at a local animal shelter and also has 3 pit bulls, a long-haired Chihuahua, and a Brussels Griffin. Like to hear more about that. And she also has a new book talking about her journey with Lyme disease and her rescue dog saving her life. And the book is called Me and Mr. Monks. And that looks really cute over there too. And I just want to come out and pet the little guy. So live, ladies and gentlemen, from the Plus Studios in beautiful downtown Richmond, Virginia, the author and registered hospital nurse of Richmond, Virginia, case manager, and the author of Me and Mr. Monks, ladies and gentlemen, the multi-talented Dawn Blair. Dawn, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's great. And it's great to have you on board as well, too. So you're an author and registered hospice nurse case manager residing in Richmond, Virginia. You volunteer at a local animal shelter. You got 3 pit bulls, a long-haired Chihuahua, and a Brussels Griffin. I'd like to hear more about that. Your new book, Me and Mr. Monks, talk about your journey with Lyme disease and your rescue dog saving her life. And before getting to all that, tell us how you first got started.
With writing or how me and Mr. Monks met.
Just your career overall, going way back, way back.
I have 1 degree in public relations, and I went back to school in 2006 or 2009 to get my nursing degree. And that was inspired by my mother, who had a lifetime of illness and passed away at the young age of 63. So I decided to go back to school to become a nurse. I've done all types of nursing. I've worked at the biggest hospital in Richmond, Virginia, which is VCU Medical Center, which used to be MCV. I worked there for 6 years. I've worked for Monks&quot. I've done many nursing jobs, such anything from med surge to triage in a clinic, and hospice is my niche. I've been doing hospice for a little over 3.5 years for Hospice of Virginia, which is a company out of Virginia, and it's the only kind of nursing I really want to do.
Okay. All right. And also, what was it one precise moment that simply influenced you into what you're doing for the rest of your career?
Well, for the rest of my career, I'd really like to professionally write. I would like to retire from nursing at some point and professionally write, because that is my love. I love to write. I love to write short stories. I'm working on my 2nd book now. I love to write songs, poetry, anything. I'm very creative. I do a lot of arts and crafts, anything that involves visual arts.
Okay. And how'd you first get started in writing?
Well, I've always been a really good writer. When I would comment on other people's things, posts on Facebook and such, it was always people would remark how eloquent I wrote. I wrote my mother's eulogy when she passed away, and the whole everyone there was in tears. And it's always come really easily to me. I decided to write this book after about a month after he passed away in October of 2021, because I wanted the world to know how amazing he was and how unbelievable of a little soul he was. And I wanted it as sort of a memorial to him.
Okay. All right. So yeah, so we'll talk about Mr. Monks being your dog as well too. And I noticed you've got some pictures of dogs up there. Maybe you can just show us up there your cute dogs up there and just tell us a bit about them. It's like, they're smiling. One's got a little sunflower on him, and maybe tell us a bit about your dogs as well.
So these dogs are all they're all former shelter dogs from the Richmond Animal Care and Control, which is the Richmond City Shelter. These are some of my favorites. This is by far my favorite right here. His name was Porky. He had
okay.
a horrible story that he came back from. This one we fostered until we did hospice on her. She was dying from memory cancer, and she lived about 2 weeks. This is another picture of Porky. The same one as this. This one's Nellie, one of my favorite dogs. I tried to adopt her, but my female that I have did not like. They did not get along.
Oh, I know how that goes. I know how that goes. Oh my gosh.
She was a amazing dog. I could have worked. I'm also a certified dog trainer, and I could have done some magical things with her. But when they don't get along, they don't get along. The female that I have is very, very. She's an alpha now. She thinks she rules the roost and things. She doesn't want another female in the house. So I have one female pit bull, and all the rest of my dogs are males.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Okay. We'll talk about more about your dogs as well. We'll talk about Mr. Monks as well, too, and your amazing book and your journey. But first, listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by SonicWeb Studios. Visit online at SonicWebStudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget, SonicWeb Studios is the answer. SonicWeb Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@SonicWebStudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give an official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is illusion and those you love will be the first go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson-Zia has garnered great reviews, and Eve 11 enjoys by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassie, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today for Goes Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon. Also, check out the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com on over 40 podcast platforms, heard in over 100 countries, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also, Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, Apple Music. Also heard on BitChute, Rumble, and Hamilton Radio every Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok today. And for great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com. Check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. T-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, hoodies, makes great gifts 24/7. Go to Amazon.com. Check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia for great books like Missing, Once, and Wrinkles. Also t-shirts, pop sockets, hoodies, phone cases, and more. Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia. Check it out today. Also support the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM, PayPal, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. Make sure you do so today. We're here with author and registered hospice nurse case manager residing in Richmond, Virginia, Dawn Blair of the book, Me and Mr. Monks, here on the Mike Wagner Show. And before we talk about the book and your precious Mr. Monks, you've also have quite a few dogs yourself, and you have 3 pit bulls. You got a long-haired Chihuahua and a Brussels Griffin. And tell us more about your family. And if you got additional dogs, feel free to talk about as well.
Well, I have a husband. I do have that, and I have the 3 pit bulls. I have a 9-year-old female and a 6-year-old male American bully, which is my husband's, and then a 5-year-old American pit bull terrier that I rescued myself from being euthanized. He was literally sedated on the table to be put to sleep, and I came at just the right time. He had been our foster dog. He is a special needs dog. He has brain damage. He is very much like having an autistic child with ADHD. He's like a Forrest Gump. But I wouldn't trade him for the world. He's come so far. And then I have these two little dogs that are, they're different. I have a long-haired Chihuahua, which I got for Christmas last year, and then a
Nice.
Brussels Griffon. So Mr. Monks was half Brussels Griffon, which is a very rare breed of dog.
Hmm.
And they're more prevalent in California, the West Coast, but they're not. You can't find them on the East Coast. So when my vet found this breeder of Brussels Griffons, she sent me her way, and of course I got a male Brussels Griffon, and he has a lot of the qualities that Mr. Monks had. He is very much a mama's boy, and very attached. They're Velcro dogs. They're always attached to you. He is he's pretty. He wears clothes. He'll get dressed up for you. He wants to please you. The Chihuahua, not so much. It's like owning a cat.
I know how it goes.
Yes, he's kind of a jerk.
Oh, thank God my cats are not here. If they heard me say that, they'd probably claw my eyes out. Thank God I have cats in this at this point. So. And also, what inspired you to rescue dogs and rescue animals? What was the one precise moment that got you interested in that?
I have always had an affinity for animals, pretty much over humans. I've always felt a closeness to all types of animals. I did horseback riding all through my childhood and teenage years, and into adulthood. But dogs have always been my favorite. And, I guess I really got into rescuing when I started rescuing pit bulls. I got into watching the show Pit Bulls and Parolees, and I felt like, oh, well, I want to do that. And so I actually got to meet her. I actually got to meet Tia Torres from Pit Bulls and Parolees, and do a workshop with her. I have photos of myself with her. It was one of the greatest moments ever. But she's a wealth of knowledge. And I started volunteering here in Richmond with a pit bull group called Ring Dog Rescue. And, they're the biggest pit bull rescue in Virginia. But, pit bulls are they've got such a bad rap, and they're frequently put to sleep, not even looked at. Not even, in a lot of shelters, they're not even available for adoption. They just put them to sleep. They don't even give them a chance. And so I guess feeling like they're the underdog, that's kind of what got me into it. And I rescued my first pit bull off of a chain out in New Kent County, out in a rural part of New Kent County in Virginia. She lived on a chain and by herself. And she was 25 pounds. And should have been 50. She was eaten up with fleas. She was missing a lot of hair down her back and her whole tail. Her teeth were ground down to the gums. And she had been bred multiple times. I found out her original owner was in prison for robbery, and he had. Before that, he had drug her down the road behind his truck and ripped her paws off, the skin off of her paws. Anyway, she was 8 years old when I rescued her. A friend of mine knew about her and contacted me. So it was the summer of 2012. The summer it was my last semester of nursing school, and her name was Daisy. And she was black and white, and she was an amazing, amazing dog. And she was full-blood American Pit Bull Terrier. She was well-bred, you could tell. Because the guy that had her originally got her from a breeder. But she had, pit bulls have webbed feet. If they are a true pit bull and they're full breed pit bull, they have webbed feet. And she had big webbed feet. Because they're supposed to be excellent swimmers. But Yeah, she had wonderful breeding. She was a wonderful dog. And in 2017, she died of a glioblastoma brain tumor that we had no idea she had until it was too late.
Mm.
But she was a wonderful dog, and I was fortunate to have found out about her and to have taken her away from that place where she was living, and she never looked back.
That sounds like an amazing dog. Now, do pit bulls require special training, or can they be trained like just any other breed or type of dog?
You can train, if you're knowledgeable of dog training, you can train your pit bull. I mean, you really can. You know, so Eleanor, our white pit bull that we have now, our 9-year-old female, she is deaf. Um, we got her from Ring Dog Rescue, and she because she was deaf, she had a lot of issues. Like, she would throw tantrums, and she was very hard to deal with. But because we are dog savvy, me and my husband, we dealt with it and got her through the first year of her life without, returning. I mean, we wouldn't have returned her, but I'm sure there are people that would have. Um, she had IBS, like irritable bowel syndrome. She would frequently, she was hard to crate train, she was hard to potty train, everything. The one saving grace was I had Daisy, the first pit bull that I rescued, and she raised her, and she mothered her because she had had so many puppies. And that's one thing like a deaf dog needs is a role model. They need a role model, because if not, they don't learn how to be a dog, um, because they're missing that sense. And she did an amazing job with Eleanor. Eleanor has gone through therapy dog training. She has been to assisted living homes. She goes everywhere. She's been in parades. She's been in calendars. She has been everywhere. I mean, that dog we can take anywhere with us, and she's going to act better than any child in that environment. Because
Interesting.
she's so smart. She is so highly intelligent. I taught her. I trained her with sign language, so she knows signs, because she can't hear. But she is so smart. It's almost embarrassing.
Sounds like my dog in a sense, but just like, it kind of pushes the boundaries. I know how that goes. So
Yeah.
mhm.
But she's highly intelligent.
And of course, especially with breeds and everything, what type of breeds of dogs are considered the easiest to train, and what breeds of dogs are considered the most challenging and difficult?
Well, I'll tell you, some of the most challenging ones are like a beagle, a basset hound, your hound group, the whole hound, all hounds are hard to train to do anything.
Uh-oh, our dog's in trouble. Although she's half beagle, half boxer, still in trouble. Thanks for letting me know about
Boxers
it. So,
usually aren't that difficult. Boxers usually are not hard to train. So you lucked out there. Pit bulls are easy to train if you know what you're doing. I mean, like with Eleanor, we started out early. We took her everywhere we went. We took her and introduced her to other animals, chickens, birds, horses, cows, children. We socialized her with everything, so she doesn't know anything is prey. She doesn't have prey drive. She has zero prey drive. Like a lot of pit bulls that are not socialized in that way have a high prey drive, and so they think a cat is dinner. And so, Eleanor doesn't think that way, because she brought up around cats and chickens and horses and cows and all other sorts of animals, and she loves kids. And our other two pit bulls, we're not so sure, because we got them when they were older, and I'm not sure how they would react to a cat. Small dogs are fine with. I mean, some dogs, you can't even have small dogs around. Some large dogs, but luckily, our three pit bulls are very good with small dogs. And in fact, when Monkey was alive, he ruled the house. He was in charge, and it was very obvious.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like it too. And you're talking about having like a high prey drive and a low prey drive. Most of it being born in a breed. Now, can the high prey drive be controlled or trained to a normal or low prey drive, or is it just high prey is just simply high prey?
You can work on it with different tactics, like you know, desensitizing them. So having them around those things that cause them to have that prey drive, like so say your boxer has a high prey drive to or it thinks of chickens as prey. You never want to let him loose around chickens, but you take him around chickens, let him see chickens, let him be around chickens, not by himself.
Hmm.
That kind of desensitizing is how you can get some of the prey drive out of them. Not all. That's not that not that's not for all dogs, but some you
Okay.
can. Like with cats, especially with cats, if you have a cat and you want a dog that is cat not real friendly with cats, you can desensitize them to cats.
Okay. Okay. And then going back to the pit bull as well too, that it can be good to train if they know what they're doing. Now, does it still require a special training, like if they know what they're doing, or does that require like some kind of class, or what are some of the special things or special training that's required for pit bulls? It's like you can train like almost any kind of dog, but what special training is required? Especially know what they're doing when it comes to a pit bull.
Well, you know, you want to make sure that you do a lot of research on the breed and that you teach them basic obedience, at the least basic obedience, and that you're using the right equipment. Um, I hate to see people using retractable leashes on large dogs or small dogs for that matter. They are just dangerous in many extremes. And also any kind of off leash training is a no-no, because you know things happen, and pit bulls have gotten a bad rap because they've got pretty much because their owners are uneducated and think, oh well, I'm gonna train my dog to off leash, to respect me and to respond to me without a leash. Well, that doesn't always work, and usually most definitely doesn't work with the pit bull breed. um we always when we take our dogs out walking, we either have harnesses or we have a martingale collar or something. There, none of them are vicious at all, but we don't let other dogs come running up to them, because that's also a no-no. Like, my dog doesn't need to meet your dog. That doesn't need to happen, honestly. Another thing is dog parks. Dog parks are no, that's a terrible place to go and get into trouble.
Hmm.
Especially with certain breeds of dogs.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think your normal intelligent person could get a pit bull and train it basic obedience and be fine. It's just you can't just let it. You just can't let them, like any dog. You can't like get a dog and let it run wild and think it's going to train itself.
Hmm.
But I mean, they don't require any kind of special trainer per se, unless they have a behavioral problem.
Hmm. Okay. Okay, so that's the difference is that you have to have like, a bit more special training, bit more cognitive and everything else. And of course, with your Mr. Monks as well, too, being a Brussels Griffin. And of course, we talked about some breeds being easy, some breeds difficult. What would you say the degree of difficulty in raising or training a Brussels Griffin or Griffon, I should say? I'm sorry.
Well, from he was perfectly trained. He already knew everything. I mean, I didn't have to train him to do anything. He was perfect. My Brussels Griffon that I have now, potty training him was very difficult. Um, I actually sent him away for a week because I couldn't. I just was like, I was over it. And I have a behavioral trainer that I work with, and I sent him away to daycare or training boarding camp for a week, and he learned some things. they're very high strung. And I never knew that until now. He is very hyper. And hard to get his attention.
Mm.
But he wants to please you.
Mm.
But potty training him was a nightmare.
I bet.
Potty training the Chihuahua was not hard. But my Chihuahua is quite a bit smarter.
Mm-hmm.
And they're only about a month apart in age.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And of course, we'll talk about Mr. Monks as well, too. And you know something? It's great that he saved your life. We'll talk about that along with the book with author Dawn Blair. You listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by SonicWeb Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. And brought to you by official sponsor, The Mike Wagner Show, interracial warring author Mia Mostly Missing, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. We'll be back with author Dawn Blair of Me and Mr. Monks after this time out. We're back with author Dawn Blair of Me and Mr. Monks here on the Mike Wagner Show, and registered hospice nurse care residing in Richmond, Virginia. And the book Me and Mr. Monks, it's the story of a special little rescue dog that basically just saved your life, and just very heartwarming. And you know, a bit about the book as well too. And saving your life, I mean, that has to be really important as well too. I love hearing more about the book.
So I wrote the book I started writing the book about a month after he passed away, as kind of a memorial to him. And it entails everything from when he was rescued, the day he was rescued, which was Valentine's Day 2015, up till after his passing. We did so many things together. We went everywhere together. I took him everywhere. He went on our yearly beach trip with us. He also competed was in parades. He competed in contests. I would take him to assisted living homes. He had his own little doctor's outfit he would wear. He's been in a coffee table book. He's been in several calendars himself.
Nice.
But when I got sick in 2017, I started getting sick in June of 2017, and it started out with these open sores on my face. And I had those for 3.5 years. If you can imagine a woman with open ulcers, deep ulcers on her face, that never would go away, for 3.5 years. I went to 26 doctors over the 3.5-year time period to try to get help, and nobody would take me seriously. They all said I was crazy, and that I was, that I was doing this to myself, that I needed to see a psychiatrist. But I mean, I knew something was really wrong. And, I also had other symptoms, headaches, dizziness, chronic insomnia, numbness and tingling in my feet to the point where I couldn't stand up, swelling in my legs, and also I lost a lot of my vision.
Oh wow.
Like now I'm legally blind. So I knew something was very wrong. The last, I guess, 6 months or so before I was diagnosed, I couldn't even work. And Mr. Monks was constantly there. He was my constant, little sidekick. He was always with me. And we just grew closer and closer. And, back then I used to think about suicide every week. I thought about killing myself because I had no life. My life was miserable. I mean, I couldn't leave my house. I didn't leave my house for 3 months.
Wow.
Because I couldn't, because I had these huge wounds on my face. So, I contemplated killing myself many times. And I remember one day, one morning, trying to put makeup on to cover up these wounds on my face, and I couldn't do it. And I just, fell on the floor and just sat there sobbing, and I was like inconsolable. And I looked up in the doorway, and there he was standing staring at me. And it was at that point I said to myself, I cannot leave him, because his whole world revolves around me. And, so I kept fighting for him. And, so he was the reason I kept going. So when I say he saved my life, he really did. He saved me from myself.
I'm just very touched by the story. I mean,
Well, thank you.
no, we're still on there, guys. Just wanted to say that. So that's just one of the most compelling stories I've heard right here on the show, and it's just so amazing. It's almost like having a child right by you, whether it's a daughter or a son or anything like that. You do anything for Mr. Monks.
That's right. That's right. I would. I would.
Okay.
He was like having a child.
Mm-hmm. And there's one I forgot to ask as well too. How they come up with the name Mr. Monks?
So when he was my foster dog, through Ring Dog Rescue, because Ring Dog Rescue, the pit bull rescue, rescued him, and they let their fosters pick the dog's name. So
Okay.
he looked like, when he got rescued, he didn't look like he looks in this book, right, in his picture right here.
Mm-hmm.
He was a mess. He looked kind of like a cross between a gremlin and an Ewok, and
Oh my goodness.
his
Whew.
hair was wild, and he was missing a lot of hair on his back and under his chin, and he had a lot of scabs on him. He had oozing wounds and terrible ear infection, and he was on antibiotics for months and medicated baths every other day. But I thought he looked like a monkey.
Oh, I get it. Okay. All right.
Called it
I was thinking more of that TV show Monk, or it's like you see the
everybody.
monks in the monastery, walking around with the Gregorian chant, going on 24/7. That's what I was thinking of.
But so when I started his Instagram account, I had to come up with something, more a little catchier than monkey.
Mhm.
So I thought Mr. Monks, and that's how that name came to be. And he was such a handsome and suave looking fella. He would always. I have so many photos of him dressed up. He had so many outfits, and he would he was like a little supermodel. He would just sit there for hours for you to take pictures of him. He
Mm.
loved it. He ate it up. And so that's how I came up with the name Mr. Monks, from his original name that I gave him, Monkey.
Okay. And also, what can we learn from the story about me and Mr. Monks, and what can we learn about the book, and what can we learn from this whole experience?
Well, I want people to take away the importance of rescue and adoption. Animal rescue is a beautiful thing, and just because it's a rescue dog doesn't mean they're broken. It doesn't mean that anything's wrong with them. It just means they might need a little more extra time to acclimate. But there's nothing better than a rescue dog. I can say that for sure, because they love you until the day they die because you rescued them. Um, a second point I would like to make is that animal that human animal bond that is so strong. I had the most beautiful relationship with Monkey, or Mr. Monks. It was a beautiful friendship. He was my very best friend. And I know I'll never have that again. But that bond can sometimes be so strong, that there are people out there that will not ever experience it, and it's sad because it is a beautiful thing to experience. And I want people to know that out there possibly is your Mr. Monks. And then thirdly is chronic illness, and my battle with chronic illness, and how you have to be your own advocate. You have to be your own advocate, or pay, for yourself, for your health, because doctors aren't just going to help you. um, you have to put your foot down and sometimes get really nasty before you will ever get help. So being your own advocate for your health care is a huge, huge deal in my eyes. Being a nurse, being somebody that suffers from chronic illness, I think that is a huge, huge deal.
And then lastly, when it comes to animal rescue and everything else, how can we help?
Buy the book.
And besides that, I know that. Besides that,
um, you can, like, if you're looking for a dog or a cat or anything, go to your local shelter.
okay.
Go to your local shelter. Go to your local animal rescues. If you want a specific breed, they have a rescue for any of them, for all of them. Go that route. You know, adoption is much better than purchasing an animal.
That is so true. I've heard a lot about that. And of course, we adopted animals ourselves. And of course, I'm going to come out and say, I'm not a fan of purchasing a dog or a cat at a pet store whatsoever. There's millions of them running around out there. It's like, you're right. You're better off just getting an adoption. You never know if they, what they go through in pet stores. You never know.
Yeah, you don't. Most of them are from puppy mills, from the ones you see in pet stores. I mean, there are good breeders out there. I'm not saying that there aren't any good, there's no good breeders, because there certainly are. But there's a lot of bad ones too.
Okay. All right. Well, that'd be another time as well, too. And lastly, where can we get the book, Me and Mr. Monks, and how do we get more information?
Well, you can get more information from his website, mrmonks.com. The book is also available on that website, mrmonks.com. And the book is available through amazon.com and barnesandnobles.com.
Okay. We're certainly check those out. We're with author Dawn Blair of Me and Mr. Monks here on the Mike Wagner Show. Learned a lot about animals and just a really compelling story about Mr. Monks and the special bond between him and Dawn, and just a few more things here. Love to have you back. What else can we expect from you in 2022 and 23 and beyond, Dawn?
Well, like I mentioned previously, I'm working on my second book now. It is also about one of my dogs. I like to write true life. I like nonfiction, stories that really happened. This book is about Bradley, my special needs pit bull, that I rescued from literally being euthanized. I contacted the shelter director, and if she hadn't looked at her phone at that precise moment, he would not be with us now. That is what I'm working on currently.
Okay. We're certainly check that out as well, too. And we'll talk about it when we have you back on next. And who do you consider your biggest influence in your career?
My biggest influence in, I would have to say, like in my nursing career.
It can be anything.
Okay. So I'm just going to say the person that I admire the most, probably more than anyone in this world, is Amanda Opie Taylor, the president of Ring Dog Rescue. She is an amazing woman. She has a criminal justice degree. She knows everything there is to know about animal welfare, animal rights in any county, any jurisdiction, anywhere. She is also a member of the dogfighting task force. She's a wonderful human being. And I admire her so much that the book is actually dedicated to her. And she flies under the radar. She doesn't like being noticed. She doesn't like anyone talking about her. But she is a wonderful person and a wonderful advocate for animal rescue and bully breeds in general.
That certainly is amazing. We will keep that in mind. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
The best advice I can give to anyone is to follow your dreams and to never give up.
Okay. And certainly as well, too, with Mr. Monks as well. We're with author Dawn Blair of me and Mr. Monks here on the Mike Wagner Show. Dawn, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Learning a lot from you. Just a great heartfelt story. Looking forward to having it soon. Keep us up to date. Keep in touch. And of course, you can bring your pets in on the next episode as well. And once again, what's your website? How do people contact you? Where can people purchase or check out your book?
You can go to you can go to mrmonks.com. So mrmonks.com is his website, or you can go to amazon.com or barnesandnobles.com.
We will certainly check that out. Once again, Dawn, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Looking forward to having you again soon. Make sure you keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Love having you back, and we wish you all the best. And Dawn, you definitely have a great future ahead of you.
Thank you so much for having me.